The golden chandeliers of the Aurelia Hotel dripped light like liquid money, every crystal catching the soft clink of crystal glasses and the low, confident laughter of people who had never once worried about rent. It was the kind of place where dreams came to be photographed, not lived. And yet, on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday afternoon, tucked between the marble columns and the scent of white orchids, a miracle wearing a black apron and trembling fingers was about to unfold. Her name was Nora Velen, Nora to the few who bothered to learn it. 2 weeks on the job still felt like trespassing. She moved through the dining room like a ghost, eyes lowered, voice barely above a whisper, convinced that if she stayed small enough the world might forget to bruise her again. Life had taught her early that silence was safer than hope. But the universe, as it often does, had other plans. Table 9 was set apart by heavy velvet curtains, a private island for the untouchable. Billionaire Adrian Cole sat ramrod straight in a suit sharp enough to cut glass, his mother Margaret beside him. Elegant pearls, silver hair swept into a flawless chignon, and the kind of gentle smile that made you want to protect her from everything cruel. The staff whispered about Adrian the way sailors once whispered about storms. Brilliant, ruthless, colder than the champagne he ordered. Nora approached with her heart hammering against her ribs. She was supposed to recite the specials, take the order, vanish. Simple, safe. Then she saw it. Margaret wasn't answering the maitre d's questions. She was tilting her head, lips moving almost imperceptibly as she tried to read them. A discreet hearing aid glinted beneath her hair. Adrian leaned in, repeating himself slowly, patiently, something no one in the dining room would ever guess the Ice King capable of. Nora's breath caught. She knew that till to the head. She knew the tiny flicker of embarrassment quickly hidden behind a smile. She knew it because she had grown up translating the world for her little brother Eli, the brightest light of her childhood, born deaf and taken by illness 2 years ago. Every sign she had ever learned had been for him. Every silent, "I love you," across a crowded room had been for him. Her hands moved before her mind caught up. Fingers soft, deliberate, graceful. "Still or sparkling water, ma'am?" Time stopped. Margaret's eyes, pale blue and suddenly shimmering, snapped to Nora's hands. Her own hand flew to her chest, as if someone had reached straight into her ribs and cradled her heart. Tears welled instantly. She signed back, slow and shaky with disbelief. "You know sign?" Nora nodded, throat tight, tears already threatening. "Yes, ma'am. My brother, he was deaf." Adrian froze mid-sentence, mouth half open, staring at this trembling waitress who had just unlocked his mother's voice in a room full of people who had never once tried. Margaret's reply came faster now, joy spilling from years of careful isolation. "No one has ever. Thank you. Sparkling, please. With lime, if it's not too much trouble." Nora's smile could have lit the entire hotel. Never too much trouble. And just like that, the wall came down. What happened next wasn't service. It was communion. Nora didn't just take their order. She signed every special, every wine pairing, every silly little joke about the chef's obsession with truffles. Margaret laughed. Actually laughed, hands dancing, cheeks flushed, the way she probably hadn't since before the world decided her silence made her invisible. Other tables began to notice. Phones lifted. Whispers traveled like wildfire. "Look at Mrs. Cole. She's glowing." For the first time in years, Margaret was the loudest person in the room, and she never made a sound. Adrian sat back, arms folded, watching his mother come alive in a way no private jet, no diamond necklace, no boardroom victory had ever achieved. Something cracked behind his steel-gray eyes. Nora, meanwhile, felt Eli in every gesture. Each flick of her wrist was a conversation she never got to finish with her little brother. Through Margaret's sparkling eyes, she saw Eli's mischief again. Through Margaret's grateful hands, she felt Eli tugging her sleeve one more time. The grief she carried like a stone suddenly had somewhere soft to land. When dessert arrived, a single perfect chocolate sphere that melted under warm caramel. Margaret reached across the table and took both of Nora's hands in hers. The entire dining room seemed to lean in. Margaret signed, slow and deliberate, so every word sank deep. You made me feel seen today, truly seen. I've spent years smiling so no one would feel uncomfortable, and in 5 minutes you gave me back my voice. Thank you. Nora's lips trembled. She signed back, tears sliding silently down her cheeks. You gave me back my brother for an hour. Thank you. Even the chandeliers seemed to shimmer brighter. Later, when the plates were cleared and the velvet curtains drawn back, Adrian asked to speak with Nora privately. She walked toward him, convinced she was about to be fired for overstepping. Instead, he looked almost human. I've spent 15 years building an empire, so my mother would never want for anything, he said quietly, voice rough. Turns out the one thing I couldn't buy her was a conversation. You did that in an afternoon. He paused, swallowing hard. She taught me kindness when I was a boy. I forgot the lesson somewhere along the way. You reminded me. Then, without flourish or cameras, he made 2 phone calls. The first, every single staff member at the Aurelia would receive fully paid sign language classes starting next week, in loving memory of Eli Norvellen, a little boy most of them would never meet, but whose love would now echo through marble halls forever. The second, a full-ride scholarship for Nora to study special education, because the world was desperately short on hearts like hers, and he intended to fix. That one quiet revolution at a time. Word spread faster than wildfire in dry grass. Guests posted videos. Strangers cried in their cars watching shaky phone footage of an old woman laughing with her whole body because a waitress cared enough to speak her language. The clip racked up millions of views overnight. Comments flooded in from deaf people who had never been acknowledged in a restaurant, from children who learned they weren't invisible, from mothers who saw their own grief reflected and softened. Margaret returned every week after that, always requesting my Nora. They would sit in a quiet corner, signing over tea and lemon cake. 2 women who had lost pieces of their hearts to silence and found them again in each other's hands. One slow evening months later, Nora stood by the panoramic window during her break, city lights glittering below like scattered stars. She pressed her palm to the cool glass and whispered into the night, I miss you, Eli. But look, she's laughing because of us. And somewhere, she knew he heard her, because love doesn't need sound. It only needs a heart brave enough to speak when no one else will. This is Midnight Tales, and if this story wrapped its arms around your heart the way it did mine, do me the biggest favor. Smash that like button, drop a comment telling me if you would have signed to a stranger that day. Share this with someone who needs to remember that kindness is still alive. And subscribe to Midnight Tales because every week we uncover real stories that prove the world is still soft in the places that matter most. Turn on the bell so you never miss the next tear, the next laugh, the next reminder that one small gesture can rewrite someone's entire universe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in kindness. And wherever you are tonight, may someone unexpected speak your silent language too.